Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Evoke Graffix YouTube channel. I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple, easy smoke effect. And to do so, we're going to set up a nice stage, black stage background, so we can see the smoke that we're gonna create. And I've already done so. I already set up my black background. So to get started, we create a new layer. We call this layer we call this layer smoke, and there we go. And then we select our brush to start creating some lines here. But before we do, we got to make sure that our brush has hardness of 0 and opacity of about 55. 50, in between 50 and 60 is good. I'm just going to go ahead and do 55. And then my brush size should be about this big. Not too big, but not too small either. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a nice line from top to bottom, and it's going to wave a little bit, okay? So let's give it a go and see what happens. Here's our first line, and that's pretty nice. And let's create another one right to the right of it, similar to it, but not exactly like it. So let's do that. Look at that. That's nice. And now we want to reduce the radius of the brush. So we want to make it a little bit smaller, maybe half of what it was. And then we want to just connect some lines here, create some lines that connect to the thicker lines. So we're going to start from here. We're going to bring one down this way. So let's try that. We're going to go just like this. And then we're going to do one here at the top. And then another one maybe here, and just play around until you get some nice lines going. And it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to look perfect. We'll fix all that. So I'm going to create another line, let's say right about here, and then one more line. I'm going to start from down here and do that. Now it looks a little messy, but we'll fix all that right now. The next thing that we want to do is apply an effect called, or rather it's a filter called maximum. So we go to filter on your main menu at the top, go all the way down to other, and select maximum. And immediately you see that it's beginning to give you that feel, that smoke feel. So this is a good thing. We're on the right track. Let's play around with this slider here. This is a radius slider for the maximum filter. And depending on where you slide it, it will give you a different effect. The effect is in a sense the same, but either less effect or more effect, I should say. So I'm going to say that this here is pretty good. I'm liking that. And I'm just going to say OK. And we're done with that step. Now what we want to do is we want to warp it. In order to do so, we are going to hit Command T on a Mac. On a PC, it would be Control T, and you get this selection around the object. The next thing is, once this is selected like this, go ahead and Control click with a Mac or right click with a PC, and you'll get a pop-up menu. You want to select warp. So let's select warp. And it gives you a really nice mesh. And you can start pulling and skewing this, warping this object here. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling these guys here. So I'm going to pull the intersections here on the right to the left, and the ones that are on the left, I'm going to pull them to the right. And I'm pulling it in such a way that I feel comfortable with. You can do it however you want. You'll notice that the more you play with it, sometimes the cooler it gets, and sometimes it all goes wrong. So you have to be easy with those. I'm going to go ahead and start with these guys here. I'm going to pull this one that way, and then I'm going to pull this one to the left, and I'm going to go beyond. And if you notice, it begins to wrap around itself, and it'll give you a really cool effect if you do it just right. Let's see here. I want to pull this guy over that way. Then I want to pull this corner this way. Now it gets a little tricky sometimes because these lines here begin to overlap each other, and sometimes you lose track of where things are. But let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and mess with this guy here, and just pull it around and have fun with it. There's no fear in doing this. Note that you can start all over again and basically do the same thing. Okay, so that's starting to feel pretty good. I think I feel comfortable with this. I'm just gonna pull these guys just a little bit more, and this I'm gonna pull just a little bit, just to get a cool effect at the bottom as well. Maybe I want to raise this guy up. All right, and I think that's good. So I'm gonna hit OK, or enter I should say, and let's see what it gives me. Ooh, look at that. All right, so cool. We're getting close to pretty much the smoke effect that we want. The only thing that I like to do is add a filter or an effect on that layer. On the smoke layer, you go all the way down to the to these little icons here on the layers pane, and you want to select the effects icon here. So it'll give you a little pop-up, and you want to go into gradient overlay. Now what I like to do is, I don't mind the black, but I don't want it to be too black. I'm going to select a dark charcoal gray and put that right in the center. The white, excuse me, I'm going to make it into a nice aqua green. So right about there is good, and I'm going to say about that hue. All right, and then I'll duplicate this like so and move it over to the left. And so now I have two aquas, one on top, one on bottom, and the center is our gray color. Give it that smoky color. And there you go, guys. That's basically it. That's how you create a nice smoke effect. Really simple, really easy. Nothing to it, really. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have fun with this.